What have you got in your wee pouch down there? In my wee pouch? No. Well, let's have a look. Yeah. Nuts. Want some? Oh, don't mind if I do. Thank you very much. What about you? What's in your wee pouch down there? In my wee pouch? Well, let's have a look. See what's in here. You would hope I'd have something in here, eh? Oh. 2 stones. Oh. One bigger than the other. It's funny that, isn't it? Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? Aye. Oh. Hello folks, and welcome back to the woods with Found Abby Dozy. So in my previous video I completed our 3-part learning series looking at the essential pyramid of learning for the survivor, where we talked about kit. And in that video I shared my ultimate wilderness rucksack, which combines my favourite items from both historical and modern equipment all stuck together. And it seemed to be a popular topic, so I decided to keep riffing off this, mixing old school with new school, but this time looking at my wee pouch down here, otherwise known as my Survival Sporran. So when it comes to wilderness kit and wilderness living skills in general, I don't really like getting too bogged down in the specifics of brands and items, but I like to take a step back and look at the timeless principles for learning wilderness survival skills that have existed all throughout history and that are still applicable to the modern day. And when you practice and apply these principles and really hone your kit down to what you actually need, you can experience what I would call sort of survival flow. You just grab your rucksack and you head out to the woods and you just set up your shelter, like showing you know everything is, and you just that's what I call survival flow. Now, if you want to learn this principle-based learning system, I've got a free survival checklist over on my website, tomlanghorn.com, to get you started. Then if you want to take your learning further, come join us on my online survival school, Resilient Roots. There I've got loads of lessons showing exactly how to put your kit together, how to use it, even how to improvise it. Then on the community page, we're now doing monthly live calls where I'm setting challenges. People are doing show and tells of the different kit they've made, and it's good crack. It's good fun. So if you want to join us, it'd be great to see you. So now let's look at my Survival Sporran. Now the word sporran is Scottish Gaelic and it just means purse. Now when most people hear the word sporran, they think of the pouch or purse that's worn these days with the modern kilt dress. Now the Victorians, like with many things, went a bit mad with their sporrans and they added really big tassels and furry bits and just made them really ornate and impractical. But the OG sporrans of the 17th century and before that were just really simple, practical utility pouches. Usually just a drawstring bag with a little flappy lid to keep things dry. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't much of a pouch guy before I started the Highlander series. I would usually just keep essential everyday items in my pockets or in my rucksack. But if you've only got stuff in your pockets, it's really easy to lose or misplace things every time you change your trousers or change your jacket. And if it's in your rucksack, you don't always have your rucksack with you. Sometimes you want to leave it as a base camp and go wandering. So having just one pouch that's got all your small items, it's just really, really handy. And that's exactly what the Highlanders were using their sporran for. For some reason, a lot of historical clothing doesn't have very good pockets built in. I don't really know why. So people had pouches for their everyday items. Now, if you want to see my interpretation of what a 17th century Highlander would have had in their sporran, purely historical, then check out this old video where I show you what's inside there. This, as I said, much like the rucksack, is just a sort of organic evolution for all the adventures I've been doing. It started off purely historical, but then I would start adding in a few essential modern items for safety and for hygiene. And then it's just kind of stayed pretty much the same items in it the last few years. So first of all, I want to give a big shout out to Vaughn Morphett from Hammer in Hand down in Tasmania, Australia. Vaughn has not only made me this particular sporran, but he's made a few items inside it. Vaughn has made a few sporrans over the years. This is the most recent one, sort of custom one from specifications I wanted. But he's also made me a couple of targes that we did our musket experiment shooting at. So thanks so much, Vaughn. Thanks for your generosity and creativity over the years. I'll put a link to his shop down below. You should definitely check it out. Okay, so let's first look at the belt that these items are on. This belt is just an old leather belt I got in a charity shop. It's not particularly wide. If you look at the historical belts, they often had a thicker belt on already that was holding up their blade, and their sporran belts were fairly thin, which shows that they were never particularly heavy. The items in it were light enough so that it was comfortable to wear on a belt like this. The belt buckle itself I changed from its original one. This is actually one of Vaughn's kilt pins that I've turned into a belt buckle. Now, I tend to only wear this round my waist when I'm in the Highlander kit. Otherwise, when I'm cutting around camp and stuff, I prefer wearing this diagonally across my body. It's just much more comfortable and easy access. Another thing that's on this belt, that's just always on this belt, is of course my trusty Fan Dabby Do Survival Ski and Do. Yeah, I will get around to making some more of these. I know lots of people message me wanting these, but subscribe to my email list and I will send out a call when some of them are ready again. So that's just a bit about the belt. Now onto the juicy bit, the sporran itself. So I think this particular sporran is made out of like 3 different types of leather. I think it's kangaroo, pig and cow leather, all combined together with red deer antler toggles. So I asked Vaughn to make sure that I could open this with one hand, because sometimes you're in a situation lighting fires or doing something, you only got one hand to open it. So this particular deer antler is curved upwards, so I can just easily feel it underneath the leather loop and I can get the lid open. The second one is just nice and easy to pull open, and then you can get your hand in and split it like that. So you can open it with one hand. To me, that was important. Let's see what's inside. So the first thing I'm going to pull out is a honing rod. So just something to sharpen your knife with. This is a Veterinox brand, so the same brand that does Swiss Army knives. Also got a bit of duct tape in there because, you know, duct tape is handy. Next thing, a wee ferro rod. This is just a cheap ferro rod that I think came with a survival knife. It just ended up in here. But it's a nice backup fire system. I can use the back of my Fan Dabby Do to produce sparks. So we backup fire lighting system. This item doesn't always live in here, but inside a little protective sock to stop it getting scratched is my compass. Now, a compass that I'm most used to using in the Scottish Highlands, and the one that you are taught in the mountain leader training, is the Silva base plate compass. But one that's more multifunctional is this Sunto MC2. Okay, it's got this sighting mirror for sighting bearings, but that mirror is also very useful, you know, for just checking your hair. If your hair is all right, if my hat's placed all right. No, it's actually really useful first aid if you've got something stuck in your eye, or getting ticks out, which I'll talk about later, and of course, finding your direction when you're moving about. Next item, tick tweezers. Unfortunately, one of the biggest downsides of the Scottish Highlands is there's loads of ticks. So ticks is our blood-sucking insect, and they can carry Lyme's disease. Now, the biggest thing to kind of stop Lyme's disease is make sure you can take them off in the first 24 hours. Loads of different tools for taking off ticks. My favourite are these tick tweezers. They've just got little hooks on the end. To me, they're better than the tick cards or the little hooks that you get. So that, combined with the mirror in my compass for searching those hard to see areas, a great, or my go-to tick removal system. Head torch. I said in a couple of my previous videos just how much of an underrated item a head torch is. This particular one is a Princeton head torch, I think, which they're a bit expensive for what they are, but I wanted something that had a red light filter that you didn't have to flick through all the settings. A lot of head torches you have to click it like 5 times and you've already, you know, lost your night vision and blinded yourself going through the light settings. This has just got a really easy little filter, so you can just change it to red light so you can keep your night vision. You can stay stealthy. That's also really handy having in that pouch, because again, you might have gone to go get firewood or gone foraging. You've gone away from your rucksack and then it suddenly got dark. You're like, shit. This is an electric lighter, a plasma lighter. Now, someone gave this to me. There was a part of me that was like, is this a bit gimmicky? But it's lived in here for a while and actually I really like it. All it is just a lighter that's got a little electric current, and rather than lighter fuel, you just charge it up with a micro USB. And to be honest, I rarely have lighter fuel on me to refill like a normal lighter, but I usually have a power bank to charge my phone and cameras and stuff. So that's pretty useful. And yeah, it's great for getting fires going. It also impresses your friends. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's like a taser. A wee blowy thing. And it's for blowing the embers of your fire to get it going. Again, it was given to me, I thought it was a wee bit gimmicky, but there's been loads of situations where it's actually really useful. Keeping the fire going, getting it going in the morning when you've only got some embers. You can just really directly blow and supply oxygen to that fire. What else we got in here? Now we're kind of ended up at some of the historical items. So with historical clothing, especially the Highlander stuff, you usually have to have other items, usually ties and pins, so you can actually wear it. So this is just 2 strips of linen, which are, I think they're called flashings to my long socks or hose. Essentially just something to tie up to stop them slipping down. You can also use them for historical breeches and things like that. I guess this was before the day of elastic and things. So to keep your clothes fitting properly, you sometimes need to tie them. Next, a blanket pin. This is a fantastic item of kit. Again, this is made by Vaughn Morphett. Beautiful brass pin. This is a larger one that I usually wear on my plaid, when I'm wearing the plaid across my shoulder like that. You can also just fling your blanket, your plaid or whatever, over your shoulders and secure it in place like a cloak using that pin. But also this is multifunctional. Just that little jabby bit, the pin itself, you can use to puncture holes if you're need to make some shoes or do some leather work. And the ring of it, you can actually put 3 correctly sized sticks and just splay it out and make yourself a tripod, hang your pot over the fire. A historical item which is still really useful to me in the modern day. Another pin made by Vaughn Morphett, a little kilt pin. So when you're wearing your kilt or your plaid, you often need to pin it just above your knee to stop it flapping open. So this is just a little pin for that. A beautiful little brass pin made by Vaughn there. And again, it's just there so that everything I need to put on my Highlander kit is just all in one pouch. Another thing related to the Highlander clothing, but also multifunctional, a bit of natural cord. So some ways I wear the plaid over my shoulder. To make it comfortable, I often tie it rather than pinning it, or I kind of tie it around my shoulder to stop it slipping off. So that's what that cord is for, but of course, cord, multifunctional, you need it for the woods. The fact it's natural, I can split it apart, use it as a fire lighter and things like that. Natural fire lighters. These are just fire lighters you can buy in most shops these days. I think they're made from like wood fiber, soaked in like a natural wax or something. So they're not smelly. They don't stink of petroleum and things like that. They're food safe. Yeah, keep a couple of them. Obviously, if you're getting fires going, if your lighter is out of fuel, you can just splay these into fine fibers and hit them with that ferro rod. You can get a fire going. Also, just one big one by itself, I can usually, you know, that's got enough burn time to boil, you know, half a cup of water. You know, enough for a meal or a big cup of tea. A wee whistle. Oh, I didn't expect that. Again, one of these things I just threw in. I was like, that could be useful. Never actually had to use it, but whistles are common bits for emergency kit. So it's in there and now I'm slightly deaf. Final item, and perhaps the most important item, guitar pick. Boom. I'm a picker, not a fingerer. For jamming around the campfire. I'm also looking for a guitar pick, especially when it's dark. It's handy if it's brightly coloured, in case you drop it. So thanks for watching this wee video, folks, on my Survival Sporran. If you want to join in all the learning survival fun, don't forget to go check out my online school, Resilient Roots. Until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Also, once again, big shout out to Vaughn Morphett for making me this beautiful sporran. Don't forget to check out his wee shop. Big thanks to all my Patreons. You're all legends. Without their support, this channel honestly wouldn't be possible. So, until then, have fun in the woods. See you next time.